The service we provide today is very different from the past. Businesses are running every day, every minute. Competition is stiff.
Today we are talking about I want my cash flow now, not yesterday or a year ago.
Accounting service can no longer be provided on a monthly basis or what we call a past basis. Xero has helped us grow very well through the cloud. We believe the use of cloud-based software is the only way to work and collaborate efficiently.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Accounting Tech Connect and Grow channel. You've just seen an advert from our title sponsor Xero. If you'd like to find out more from the Xero team, please feel free to visit them at their booth. This session playing now is titled Cloud Accounting, Taking Bookkeeping into the Cloud, and is being presented by Tamil Salvan Ramados, who is the Group Manager for Financial Analysis at Dubai Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation. If you have any questions for Tamil, please feel free to submit them into the live discussion box on the right-hand side of your screen. And just a quick reminder, we will have a prize for the best question at this year's event, so please keep the questions rolling in. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to Tamil. Over to you.
Hello, hi, good morning. This is Tamil Ramdas. Very happy to meet you all in the Accounting and Financial Asia that is being conducted from 21st to 22nd September 2021 as an edition in Singapore. And I'm very happy to meet you all this morning and like to share my thoughts on the topic of the day. And before we get into the topic, I would like just to give a small bit intro of myself. I'm Tamil Selvan Ramadas, a strategic financial professional with more than 25 years of experience in accounting, finance, project management, strategic and maritime sector finance and economics. I'm a certified management accountant from USA and a project management PMP certified cost accountant from India and also certified in IFRS IPSAS, and I've been an expert in accounting and financial transformation over the last 2 decades. Currently, I work as the manager financial analysis for the Ports, Customs and Free Zone Corporation, that is in the Dubai Maritime sector in the government of Dubai. Also, I serve as the Vice President Professional Education in the Institute of Management Accountants Dubai chapter in United Arab Emirates. What is the contents of the topic today? It's all about cloud accounting, that is taking the books of accounts to the cloud. What is clouds, which we see in our day-to-day life? We enjoy the clouds, but nowadays cloud is one of the greatest technology transformation that is happening in every business spectrum. So in today's contents, I'll take you through step-by-step process of migrating the bookkeeping process to the cloud account, to the cloud system, and what are the challenges and what are the tangible advices that I can provide you when you do the migration. And finally, we'll touch base upon some of the case studies that has been applied in the real life situations. Now let's look at what is cloud accounting. Cloud accounting is a feature which has all the features of a desktop accounting, but only thing is it moves the whole process to the cloud and keeps the entire processing happening in a remote system that's called in the clouds area, wherein there is no desktop application. You can log in at any point of time from anywhere, and it can be used by multiple users from multiple locations, and you can access the same data in the multiple resources and through multiple ways from the multiple points. And most of the cloud platforms will also have something called Open API, which is called the application program interface. The application program interface is one of the most key factor, the key terminology that you need to understand in the whole process of cloud accounting or cloud migration, which basically means that you as a system can connect to a empty number of external systems, and the third party softwares can connect with your system to provide even further value to your business as a great value addition as a business owner to you. Now let's look at the market structure or the market cap or the market size of this so-called cloud accounting systems and softwares. At 6.4% compounded annual growth rate, cloud accounting software market size is set to register at least 3.74 billion US dollars by 2025. That's a whopping number, and you see the tremendous exponential growth that is happening in the field of cloud accounting and cloud systems. And if you look at the so-called the market players, it is Intuit, Xero, Sage, Oracle, Microsoft, SAP, Workday, Unifor, Infor, Epicor, Zoho, Accelerity, FreshBooks, cash flow. These are the great companies, great manufacturers, or great providers of the cloud systems and cloud accounting process and softwares. And when you look at the popularity of the cloud accounting software, the traditional accounting people who are just living with the same happy old systems of books are only 5%, whereas people are more popularly moving to 58% towards the cloud-based system, and the population of 37% is still on the on-premise. And you can see a database down, 61% of the users are either transforming or planning to transform their accounting software, and the 52% users saw lower financial error rate by adopting an accounting software, and a whopping 77% users are satisfied after purchasing a cloud accounting software. And this is how the cloud accounting market looks like, my friends. Let me take you through the next process of what are the benefits of cloud accounting? If you look at the cloud accounting, they bring in a lot of benefits, and they claim to bring a lot of benefits, even though there are some challenges. The first and foremost thing is that you can work in the cloud accounting anytime, anywhere with great access, and you can have multiple access from multiple locations on the same data, up-to-date data, and real-time metrics. These are the great benefits you get. Automatic upgrades and backups. You don't have to do the backups regularly from your side. It is automated. A cost and time effective solution. The most important factor is it is having 3S. We call them as the speed, security, and scalability. These are the great advantages of cloud accounting. And accuracy, accessibility, and efficiency. You can streamline your billing and order processes. You can share and collaborate at ease. You can capture and store financial data at most accurate model, and also report on finances. It's highly productive in terms of relationship with your vendors and clients. It can capture the data in a very nice manner, and you can chatter to enable more effectively throughout your across your organization employees, and also external to the organization as a relationship. Then we can also have a great return on investment and real-time multi-dimensional financial analysis. So these are some of the very specific benefits you can get from going into the cloud accounting. Now let's look at the Institute of Chartered Management Accountants of UK has given a research which says that after implementing the cloud accounting technology, the effectiveness has increased by 32%, and the cost savings has gone up to 36%, while there's a 50% savings in the timings. And if you talk about the efficiency, that has skyrocketed to 55%, and 27% improving in terms of scalability. So these are the great advantages that you see when it comes to benefits of cloud accounting. Now let's talk about the differences or the gaps or understanding and a comparing and contrasting of traditional versus cloud accounting. In terms of access to data in traditional or manual accounting, you see that there is a limited number of users, cannot have multiple users logged in the same file unless multi-company processes availability or features are availability. But if you look at the cloud accounting, unlimited number of users, multiple users can have access to data at the same time with the same function on different users levels. Third parties can also log remotely from any location. This is a fantastic feature of a cloud accounting. Then coming to the audit trails, which is one of the important features. In terms of manual accounting, there are limited users, so the audit trails are also limited, which means there is a sharing of passwords or login IDs, which means the audit tracking reliability itself is lost. But if you're talking about the cloud accounting, audit trails based on user logins are connected to each function and transaction. Security functions built in to follow employer to monitor user changing details such as bank accounts. So the complex audit trails offers transparency into the transaction editing and audit trailing. That's one of the important features of the cloud accounting. Coming to the data storage, if you see the traditional accounting, the data is being stored in-house in your desktop, or sometimes it is printed and kept in your office lockets or office storage systems, which are highly prone and that can be destroyed by loss or lost, or can also be stolen. And there's a big data storage, what you call as threatening in terms of security and data availability, in terms of speediness, and also in terms of continuability of the business. But if you talk about the data storage in terms of cloud accounting, it is stored on a remote at a large backup server, which is protected by encryption. Source documents stored in the cloud in the accounting systems, and in most cases in a third-party collection so which means the backups are happening completely 24 hours back to back, and you do not have to do the backups every time manually, and the data integrity is fully the responsibility of the cloud accounting provider, while you as a business owner is only focusing on your routine operations. So this is one of the important features where you shift the data integrity responsibility to the so-called cloud accounting provider. Coming to the data security, there is a big compromise in the data security because the data is fully saved in the local desktop or server, which can be accessed by so-called data intruders who can hack it, and we can also have a big threatening to the data security. And also there is a limited transparency in terms of data security when it comes to the so-called traditional manual accounting. But even in online even though cloud accounting still has the hacking process or hacking problems, on online service can also be hacked. However, the encryption, the firewall system, the two-factor, the multi-factor authentication, the risk of so-called data security compromises highly reduced. Source documents are stored in the software only accessible by the correct user with permission, not left on the desk or in the filing cabinet. So the data security issues are highly valid and are also highly what you call as modernized in terms of cloud accounting. So you have a high level of data security when you go for cloud accounting compared to the manual accounting. Now coming to the software version, software must be updated periodically with bugs, bug fixes, enhancements, complaints, updates, etc. This must be done manually in terms of manual accounting or traditional accounting. But if we talk about the cloud accounting, software updates are performed on overall product on the remote server and do not interfere with the software use. So that is happening on a routine basis without disrupting your so-called routine operations. Now coming to the final point of functionality, desktop accounting solutions were developed to use one-stop shop solution, whereas cloud accounting is designed to integrate easily with third-party apps through API, that is called the application program interface software. Now coming to the cloud migration systems, you talk about there are 7 easy steps. Let's talk about the migration at a very high level. We have to define the purpose of migration, analyze the app architecture and complexity, then you have to choose a cloud environment, determine the deployment model, you need to establish performance baselines, create a migration plan, then you have to also carry out the migration. This is the high level so-called what is the 7 steps of migration. Then we also have to go for something called as migration process in terms of basic steps of process. First, you have to conduct the IT infrastructure audit. Then you have to identify the existing issues and designing the solutions for them, designing a migration plan, designing the optimal cloud infrastructure. Then you have to configure the CI and CD pipelines, cloud monitoring, logging, and alerting solutions, moving the system components to the cloud, improving the infrastructure based on the pilot project feedback and outcomes. And finally, you have to do a completing a pilot project in parallel with the legacy systems. Do not leave the legacy systems. You have to do it in parallel to safeguard your data and then test the system. That's what you do as a basic process. Then we have 3 stages of cloud migration: migration, pre-migration, post-migration. In the migration level, you do ensure organizational readiness, verify targets, program migration, and also validate performance knobs. So in the pre-migration level, you establish an end-to-end monitoring strategy, identify and understand the workloads, capture current performance baselines, and in the post-migration, you'll go for compiling the post-migration performance summary, feedback and agree on the finding, and get lessons learned, and establish a continual improvement process or a plan. Now let's come to the most important thing, that is called the types of cloud migration, that is the 6 R's. The 6 R's stands for rehost, replatform, repurchase, refactor, retire, retain, and let me talk a little bit detail on that. When you talk about the rehost process, most applications without changes. In large-scale legacy migrations, organizations are looking to move quickly to meet business objectives. The majority of these applications are rehosted. For example, GE Oil and Gas found that even without implementing any cloud optimization, it could save roughly 30% of its cost by rehosting only. Now coming to the replatforming, making a few cloud optimizations to achieve a tangible benefit. You will not change the core architecture of the application. For example, reduce the amount of time you will spend managing database instances by migrating to a database as a services, and like Amazon relational database services, RDS, or migrating your application to a fully managed platform like AWS Elastic Beanstalk. So this is one of the replatforming process. Then we have refactoring and or re-architecting. Reimagine how the application is architected and developed using cloud native features. This is driven by strong business need to add features, scale, or performance that would otherwise be difficult to achieve in the application's existing environment. Then we go for the repurchase, move the perpetual licenses to a SaaS, that is called the software as a service model. For example, move from a customer relationship model to a custom content management model to content management model, and that is what the repurchase process is all about. Retire, move, remove applications that are no longer needed. Once you have completed discovery for your so-called environment, as ask who owns each application. As such, 10 to 20% of the enterprise IT portfolio is no longer useful and can be turned off. And finally, you can retain, that is, keep applications that are critical for the business but that require more refactoring before they can be migrated. These are the 6 R's of the cloud migration, which I talked in detail. Then let me also take you through the key steps and strategies for cloud application immigration, application migration. First is the strategy and architecture process, where we talk about the application portfolio, initial cloud fit analysis, data collection, data report, which will result in key outputs of architecture model, high-level roadmap, high-level business cases. And we talk about the second steps, analysis and planning. We talk about the constraints and criteria, application architecture details, migration planning, resource planning, estimating, cost benefit analysis. The output is detailed cost benefit analysis by application, migration plans, scheduling plan. If you talk about this third stage, that is design, development, integration, there is a candidate for migration, transformation, and rebuild, and that will result in design documents and deployment plan. If you talk about final stages, the migration deployment, which will migrate, deploy, and which can be rapid reinstall or replatform. There are platform cloud development model, which is private cloud or the public cloud, which we'll talk in detail in the coming slides. And there is also the next process I want to run through shortly due to shortage of time. We can enable, we can evaluate, we can design, develop, and standardize, deploy, and finally optimize the whole process of migration. In the first level, you do something called TCO analysis and the business case. Then you discover and assess and prioritize. Then you rehost, replatform, or repurchase, as I was talking in the previous slides. Then you build, migrate, automate for DevOps, and finally you do the management of services, application, and crowd applications. Then let's talk about the very important thing called the cloud models. When you do the migration, you think about the cloud models. There are basically 3 basic cloud models. The most important and the most widely used is a SaaS, which is called the software as a service model of clouding. A company accesses the cloud solution provider's application running on the cloud. The application is accessible from various devices such as mobile, phone, laptops, and tablets through access points such as a web browser or on an application interface. The user doesn't manage or control the underlying cloud platform infrastructure at all. Then comes the platform as a service, which is called the PaaS. In PaaS, a company deploys its own application to the cloud. These applications are created using operating systems, programming languages, library services. Now, last one is the IaaS, which is basically called the infrastructure as a service. A company is provided with a physical and virtual processing, storage, networks, and other computing resources that allow it to run its own software and operating systems. So there are various models which you can choose, from SaaS to PaaS to IaaS. Now let's come to the deployment models, and we're talking about cloud migrations. There are basically 4 types of models of deploying the cloud. One is the public cloud, which is mostly used by the governments and the organizations, which will host the data for the public usages. When you talk about the private cloud, it is mainly operated by a single company, exclusively to use by that single company. It may be owned, managed, and operated by a company itself or a third party. Now coming to the next thing is the community cloud, where a community cloud can share infrastructure between several companies, which share some common practices and policies, which can bring down the cost, and it can be an economies of scale of sharing the cost. And finally, we have the hybrid cloud, where you can take the above 3 models and integrate in the way as you like it, and that would be a more beneficial model according to the situation required, where you can mix up with private, community, and public models of deployments. Then we go on to understand the continuum of the cloud computing. The whole computing of the cloud can go in a continuum from traditional system to co-locations to infrastructure as a service, where private cloud to the SaaS. In the traditional modeling, you can see almost 10 to 12 processes or functions are completely owned by you, which is a heavily capex model. You have to spend a lot of capex, and because you own the entire system there. Now you go to the co-location, you own most of the things and manage it, but except for AC cooling and facilities. When you go to the IaaS, you manage the data applications, runtime, and also the middleware, but most of the OS, virtualization, servers, and storages are given to the outside and outsiders as a data cloud management team. Then you go to the private cloud, you just manage only the data and some part of the applications, while the cloud managers externally would manage the entire remaining process. SaaS is a complete outsourcing model, where you go to the OPEX model. From the CAPEX model, you spend 0 on the CAPEX, mostly on the OPEX you'll spend, where you have to pay for the SaaS providers who are completely managing the whole cloud accounting and cloud systems from the external level. Now let's talk about the challenges. More importantly, there are various challenges in migrations. The first and foremost is identifying a champion, shifting the mindset, building the team, managing the change, lack of resources, interoperability and also portability and heterogeneity, and also security and privacy and management of multi-cloud environments are most of the challenges people have been talking about when they talk about migrating to the cloud. In this particular spherical diagram, I would explain this even more detailedly. It gives a very detailed understanding of various challenges like economies of cloud computing in terms of SLA and policy management. If you talk about application development delivery, its resource programmability and the continuous delivery, that is a challenge. Data management, limitations on services for managing the metadata. If you talk about the heterogeneity versus VPM, vendor and hardware architecture levels, VPM placements are issues. We talk about interconnected clouds, cloud interoperability and portability, common rules and standards for security and services. These are the various challenges you will surely have it. But let's talk about how the lessons learned has come in the whole process of the whole process across the globe, and they implemented the challenges of meeting the challenges of cloud accounting. 46% of the organization plan to invest in tools to increase performance of visibility for the next migration when they do it. 37% of the organizations plan to increase education of cost, risk, and benefits associated with the cloud usage. If you talk about the biggest challenge, that is the cost, where they are talking about the cost of post-migration is very highly unpredictable, and the process of security policy is also highly tedious, and the organization readiness for this particular migration is also biggest challenge. Now, how to overcome the challenge? There are 10 challenges which I have told in this particular slides, and also given some resolutions and also how the ways to overcome that particular challenge. Challenge 1, optimizing the cloud expenses. This has been one of the most challenging tasks for cloud users because the cost of the so-called implementation is skyrocketing. So how do you overcome this challenge? Seek assistance from various technological solutions for cloud cost management, involving cloud computing partners who are skilled and experienced at cloud solution management. And when you look at the second challenge, working with poly-cloud environments, which is interoperability and also the portability. With increasing options in cloud solution, most enterprises are moving towards a multi-cloud model of working. This strategy brings along with it multiple cloud types, which means you have a lot of challenges in that. So how do you overcome it? Adapting best practices such as performing research and training, dynamically managing vendor relationships, redesigning process to involve all stakeholders and cloud patterns. These are the various ways you can overcome this challenge. The third and fourth challenge is migrating existing applications into the cloud, and the fourth challenge is adapting the cloud first model. These are two main big challenges. How do you overcome that? Perform pre-migration testing that focus primarily on migration related needs. Also hiring cloud service providers who are expert at migration projects. That will take care of the third challenge. While going to the fourth challenge, you can have training organization with much needed knowledge about the cloud, appraising teams about what is stored on them, and after cloud implementation, showing them live success stories. These all would be the ways you can also overcome the challenges of adapting the cloud first model. Cost calculations with limits and converting back office activities are the fifth and sixth challenges. How do you overcome that? Prepare a cost estimate plan right from the beginning. Involve cost experts who can foresee all included expenditure. You can overcome the sixth challenge of converting back office activities like maintaining all necessary employees information in cloud right from the beginning, having a detailed approach to migrate accounting and finance details to cloud. So seventh and eighth is meeting governing compliance and also proprietary lock-on. How do you overcome this challenge? Design compliance protocols and security frameworks, and being careful while purchasing cloud facilities from multiple cloud service providers, using the requirement from all the ends, and assuring from the start that services involved are compatible with other providers. See, these are the ways you can come out the 6, 7 and 8 challenge. And 9th and 10th challenge is nothing but the consistent performance and data security violation. Most important challenge. How do you overcome that? Is creating comprehensive application recovery solution from cloud-based data, having proper disaster recovery mechanisms in place. You can overcome the 10th and last the challenge, data security violation, by having a tight security protection protocol for cloud solution, involving a corporate culture that ensures data security training and certifying IT staff to handle security issues with an appropriate solution. Coming to the case studies, I want to show some 3 case studies, and due to lack of time, I'm just rushing out on the 3 case studies. The first in the beta trend, it is a crowd-funded, crowdsourced retail clothing e-commerce company that designs, manufactures, and releases a limited quantity products via its website. What is the migration objective? The company struggled with the maintenance difficulties and lack of scalability for the bare metal infrastructure supporting other operations. So what they did is with the introduction of this so-called cloud accounting, beta trend 2017 on-premise to cloud migration proved smooth and simple. In advance of actual migration, they created multiple clusters in GKE and performed several test migrations, thereby identifying the right steps for the successful launch. Then the cloud streamlines to load testing. They did a good load testing in the starting level itself. This states revealed poorly performing port parts that would only be revealed by heavy loads. They were able to fix the issues before the Black Friday. Now coming to cloud scalability, which is one of the greatest challenges they face as a fast-growing e-commerce business. Better Trend realized they couldn't afford the downtime or delays of bad metal. Their cloud infrastructure scales automatically, helping them avoid issues and keep customers happy. This factor alone underlies that strategic performance of cloud computing in business organizations like Better Trend. Now let's look at the second case study, which is the Cordon Group. The Cordon Group is basically started in 1957, specializing in security services, and in short time they've gone to integrated cleaning services solutions. Also in 2005 they moved into recruitment solutions. Also it's basically a service oriented company with 5,200 clients. So what are the biggest challenges? Because of the scale of operations, Cordon Group has an extensive IT infrastructure services business. The range services includes websites for the various operations, a Citrix thin client model. So relatively recently the company made the decision to move from capex model to opex model, heavily implementing the cloud system, where the Cordon turns to NetApp's cloud ONTAP operating system to address these storage issues. And what is the solution they got? Replicate the physical storage environment by using NetApp cloud on top, and the benefits are cost savings, enterprise level features, high performance, flexibility, scalability, and agileness, and responsive detailed support. And final case study is the Delaware Valley Community Health. It is a case study where the Delaware, we call as DVCH, where they're talking about providing the so-called healthcare services for the unprivileged, and Isaiah Nathaniel was a person who led the whole system of implementing the cloud system in that, wherein they got a lot of benefits by implementing the cloud system strategy implementation, where they talk about one of the first changes Nathaniel noticed was that migrate 9 servers onto the Nanotex, that is a cloud software, in less than 7 hours, performed a disaster recovery in approximately 6 minutes, and went from traditional backup structure that was 3 to 4 hours a night to now only 30 minutes using a cloud native infrastructure. And their employees are very happy. The employee efficiency has gone up, and that's what the cloud migration has done for Delaware Valley Community Health. And with this final slide, and I'm giving a big thanks to the entire team of the Accounting and Financial Asia that is being conducted in Singapore. And thanks a lot once again. It is a great time to meet you all, and hopefully we'll meet you in the next session of edition as well. Take care. This is Tamil Ramdas. Bye.
Thank you very much, Tamal. That was a really wonderful presentation and very insightful. So thank you very much for your time. We will be moving on to the next session very shortly, but in the meantime, please feel free to head over to our exhibition area where you can join the scavenger hunt, where there are lots of prizes up for grabs that have been generously given by our sponsors at today's show. Thank you very much.